This is a magazine called The Mind's Eye, and it's a magazine specialist on antiques and classic items from uh, ancient Japan and around the world. And this in this particular issue, they cover the samurai swords, and of course, which is a really wonderful aspect of Japanese culture. So these are the photos, and you would see all these wonderful example of the samurai sword. Of course, these things cannot be really represented sufficiently in terms of photography. I mean, you really need to see it. If you go to Mishima Island in Ehime Prefecture, you can see probably 10 or more national treasure class samurai swords, and which are really wonderful. And and of course these things would be behind the glass ceiling because you can't touch them firsthand. But if you do touch them, you would feel that these are really lethal weapons, needed to say. But at the same time, wonderful pieces of art. And if you look back on Japanese history, there were times when the samurai warriors really used these things. And if you look at uh, Akira Kurosawa films, you can see some remaining repercussions from that era. For example, in the great film The Seven Samurai, there is a scene where two samurai warriors first spar with wooden sword, bokuto, which is typically used in kendo, the way of the sword today. But one of the samurai grumps, and he thinks he's made little of, and he challenges the other samurai to do the real thing, do real fight with the real samurai sword. And he unfortunately is, uh, you know, broken down, and he dies because he was foolish enough to challenge this masterful samurai. So that would give you some ideas about how it was in the old days when the samurai warriors really used these swords. But unfortunately, in modern day Japan, we don't have access to these things. Most of them are illegal anyway, unless you have permit. And even if you have permit, you cannot carry them away around in cities like Tokyo for obvious reasons. But I did once for article of this magazine, not this issue, but another issue. I did once hold samurai sword in my hand, and it was a really revealing experience. My mind became more subdued, so to speak, more transparent, and I felt a real sense of mindfulness within me, awakening, because what I was holding was hundreds of years old, really masterful samurai sword, Nihonto, and I felt that I needed to be really careful when I had something like this in my hands, and I felt responsible. And you know, things could happen if I was careless, but this subdued, cooling, tranquilizing effect of the samurai sword is probably something that attracts many people to this genre of art. Mind you, I don't have any samurai sword around me, so rest assured. When I talked with the shopkeeper of this venerable exhibition that I went, he told me that increasingly people from the Middle East, for example, the Arab countries, they seek really highly priced samurai swords because they would think that these would be the symbol of masculinity and power and dignity and so on. So these are the repercussions of the ancient times, the samurai period. And if you have a chance to see a samurai sword, please do, because these are really wonderful specimen of an ancient era and a living tradition too. There are some people who still make the samurai sword even today. So in this magazine, I always write some article or two, and in the same issue, here's me in samurai warrior armor. All these wonderful, decorations that the samurai clan used to do. And this is a shop owner, and I heard that there are people from all around the world in search of genuine, authentic samurai armors, and these are wonderful things. And mind you, these are authentic and really valuable. And here's another samurai armor with me trying that on. I don't really belong to the samurai clan, I realize. I actually belong rather to the jester or comedian or whatever. Anyway, so in Tokyo there are wonderful shops like these. And so if you are interested, you should search them. And probably you would be connected to the spirit of a distant past where people lived in totally different system of ethics and moralities, but still they lived a full and enjoyable life. Here's to the samurais.